All right, guys, we are working on the 2010 Ford Transit Connect. We are going to change the radiator fluid on this vehicle. I looked online and I could not find any details on how to do this. So I'm going to create a video to help you guys out and show you how to actually change your coolant on your Ford Transit. And this should be valid for 2010 all the way to 2013. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this reservoir cap. Leave it right there. I am going to be replacing this with a new whole reservoir. I bought it off Amazon. As you can see, this is completely dirty. You can flush it out, clean yours, but I think I paid 50 bucks for a brand new one, so I'm going to replace the whole thing. So first thing is remove the cap. The next step would be to crawl up under the driver's side of your vehicle, and then right here is the actual cap. To remove this right here and let it drain. And the vehicle is cold, so make sure you do not do this when it's hot. You do not want to remove that radiator reservoir cap while it's hot. This radiator does not have a radiator cap. It's all filled through the reservoir. So let's get a bucket under here and let's remove the radiator fluid. All right, grab some pliers and start removing it this way, twisting it. And as you can see, it's going to start. Make sure you have two pans or a big pan. I got two pans because it's hard to get under here with a bigger pan. So let's just move this. Let it go. Make sure you have a bucket underneath there and no animals around because you don't want them to drink this. But as you can see, it's just draining from the actual cap. And this looks a little bit dirty, as you can see. So I'm going to let that drain out and then we'll put the cap back on. Alright guys, once it drains, come back in, retighten the drain plug, because we are going to fill the radiator with new fluids. Make sure it's snug. And once we refill it, we'll come back and check to see if it's leaking. So let's go fill up the fluid. All right, so I'm going to replace this old reservoir. It's pretty dirty, so what we're going to do is we're going to take an 8mm, remove this screw here, grab some channel locks, and remove these clips, retainers, from this hose, and this hose, and let's swap it out. Make sure you do not drop this screw. We have to retain it and use it later. We'll just put this up here. Then we want to remove the hoses. We'll remove the top ones first. Inspect them to see if they're okay. They're fine. And then the bottom one we'll remove last. What we want to do is there's a little clip back here that we have to pull up to release this. Just like that. And then we're going to remove this bottom one. And we might get a little bit of overflow, so we'll kind of lean it towards the side like this. And we still have some reservoir fluid in here, or some antifreeze in here. We'll put that to the side. We have a brand new one by Dorman. So what we'll do is we will clip it on here. We'll put the hose on, main hose, little hoses. Clip it back on. It's clipped on. Take our 8mm nut or bolt, put it back in. All right, so we got the new radiator reservoir installed. We installed the hoses, the 8mm. bolt and it's secure. So if you want to get this radiator overflow reservoir, you could actually buy it from Dorman. I'll put the link in the video below. Also, we got the Peak Original Equipment Technology North American Vehicles Orange Antifreeze and Coolant of 50/50. It's made for Ford 2011 up to 2018. So this is made for these vehicles. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to fill up the reservoir and basically burp the system. And like I said, there wasn't too many videos out on YouTube that does this process, so I am going to show you what I recommend. Again, if you have questions, you should probably consult with your mechanic, but we are going to fill this up. Make sure that your drain plug on your radiator is closed after draining it, and start filling this up. So we're going to fill this up to the max line. So if you hold the can to the side like this, it's going to give you more leverage to pour. So what we'll do is we'll fill this to the max range. We'll start the car. We will leave this open because we want to check for bubbles, and then when the car heats up to normal operating temperature, the thermostat should open and we should see this level drop. It dropped a little bit already. Fill up a little bit more. All right, so we're gonna leave this cap off and we'll come here and watch it. So let's go start the car. All right, the car is a little messy, but we will start this. And then we're gonna run our heater, turn this on and run our heater at full blast. And then we're gonna come to the front of the car and see if this drops out. So the level looks good right now. Let's see if there's any bubbles in there. I see some bubbles bleeding out of the system right here. You can see it. Air's moving out of the system. I see a lot of air coming. You can also come here and when it heats up and actually squeeze this. As it gets hotter, then it'll bleed out and it'll burp the system this way. All right, let's come back to the car and watch the temperature gauge. It's still cold. We'll give it a couple revs up to 2500. We want to get that thermostat to open up. So the good thing is, temperature's still good. Let's go back to the front of the car. And you can see the bubbles bubbling out. Again, you can come here, squeeze this. Be careful of the belt, your hand, and all the air pockets will come out. You can see a lot of the air coming out. It's okay to leave that off. You see the air just coming out. Waiting for that thermostat to open to see if that level drops. If that level drops, we're going to put more fluid in there. Main thing we're doing here is checking if this temperature gauge is heating up. We don't want to get it to the hot range. We also are checking to see if any heat's coming out of the heater core, and it's starting to heat up a little bit, so I can feel it. This gauge is already starting to come up too. You can see it. We want to get it right in the middle, so the temperature of the engine is raising, and we want that thermostat to hit open. Once that thermostat hits open, that fluid should drop. If it drops, we'll put a little bit more in. All right, so it looks like the fluid is starting to dip. We're gonna add a little bit more coolant just to get the level up. All right, so we're in the range. So I am seeing some more bubbles. So let's give a little bit more. Burp this system. Keep pressing this hose. And right here, we want to see less air coming through. You can see some air is coming through. See that little pocket? It should be a constant flow, but there's still air. You can still see bubbles coming through. You want to see a constant flow. Kind of like that. A couple more. Again, you can press this. Be very careful of the belt. It should be a constant flow, just like that. I'm burping the system. A couple more pockets. I think the thermostat's opening up. Let's go check the front of the car. Alright guys, so this should be between 190 to 200. We're just above 180. This is just underneath the midpoint, which is where we want it. I think we're good to go. So let's just go check the front of the car to see how the fluid level looks, and then we'll put the cap back on, kill the car, restart it, and then watch the temperature a little bit more. Let's make sure that nothing is leaking underneath here and everything is good. I don't see anything coming out, so we're good under here. It's sealed correctly, so we're good. All right, so the level looks good. This is flowing. You might get a little bubbles here and there, but automatically burping the system. In the beginning, you're going to get a lot. As you can see coming through here, it's a constant flow. Again, you can hit this hose back and forth to kind of burp the system. Just press it. Make sure you don't touch this belt. Just keep pressing it. Once that thermostat opens, and it should give you a full line. You might get one little bubble, but eventually the air will bleed out itself. So we'll put the cap back on, kill the car, and then watch it again. It should look like that. And that's how you burp the system. Alright, so let me kill the car. I'm going to put the cap back on. Alright, so we got the cap back on. You want to make sure it snaps in there. It's tight. Let's start the car up. It's going to build pressure in here, so we're not going to be able to take this cap off, but we'll watch it now. Since it'll pressurize. Most of the bubbles are out. So let's see what happens. All right, we're starting the car with the cap on, heaters on, and let's see if it goes any higher. It's going to build up some temperature. This is going above 180. We wanted about 190 to 200, which is good, and we want that right in the middle. So it looks like it's good. Give it a little bit more revs. Heater is hot. So the heater core is working. It's blowing hot air. So we're right in about operating temperature. Just under 190. We don't want to see that go in the red, so I think we're pretty much good. Alright, so I'm going to call this, I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to call this a success. So again, I didn't find too many videos on how to change your fluid on a Connect made by Ford. So hopefully this helps you out. Before I go, just a quick reference. I took the old reservoir off. I bought a Dorman new coolant reservoir, link below in the video. For the fluid, we used the Peak original technology made for Ford, 2011 to 2018. The Transit takes 1.5 of these, so 1.5 gallons. So make sure you buy 2. Make sure you keep the other half just in case you need to refill at any time. But again, it takes, buy 2 gallons, takes 1.5 gallons. It's the North American Vehicles Peak original equipment technology for Fords. It's 50/50. It's the orange fluid and the Dorman coolant reservoir. Links are below. Just click on it. They sell on Amazon. I purchased it on Amazon, so just click the links and you can buy what I got. Appreciate you watching. Thanks.